So just days away from UFC Fight Night, Sergei Spivak versus Marcin Tybura. We're back in the Apex. Amazing blockbuster card as always. We did not do great last week, 7-6, and we went -8 units. We've got to try to do better this week. I did go for 5 underdogs, and all 5 of my underdogs lost. There was only one underdog pick anyways that won last week, so it was a volatile card if you were picking underdogs. That's no excuse, though. We're getting back this week. First fight of the night, Stephanie Luciano versus TALITA ALENCAR. Luciano and ALENCAR already fought on Dana White Contender Series last year to a draw. Luciano lost the first 2 rounds to ALENCAR because ALENCAR was just out-grappling her. And round 3 comes along and ALENCAR is gassed. Luciano gets a 10-8, nearly finishes ALENCAR with her boxing. See, Luciano does have a 7.5-inch reach advantage here, which is interesting, but she's young. She is young. ALENCAR has the grappling advantage, obviously. She also has had a UFC fight against Ryan Dos Santos Amanda, where it went to a decision that ALENCAR won by a split decision. But I do disagree. I think Ryan should have won that fight. But ALENCAR still got that win. That's a confidence boost. And, you know, I feel like she's probably with that camp and then she's going through this camp. We can assume she's probably going to get better. And Luciano, we haven't seen her since Dana White Contender Series. So I'm going to go with ALENCAR to out-grapple Luciano because the only reason that was a draw was because she gassed out. So I think if she can improve her cardio a bit and just continue grappling in that 3rd round, this is an effortless win for TALITA ALENCAR. We're going to go TALITA ALENCAR, 29-28, possible 30-27, decision win over Stephanie Luciano. Next fight up the card. So next fight up the card, we got YOUSEF ZALAL versus JARNO ERRENS. YOUSEF ZALAL is coming off of his re-debut in the UFC, fighting Billy Quarantillo and tapping him out in the 2nd round. JARNO ERRENS coming off of a win over Steve Nugent. This is an interesting one. They both have the same record on paper, but I think Zalal's just going to be levels above JARNO ERRENS. JARNO ERRENS did look incredible in his last fight, possibly the best he's looked in his career, but I still think YOUSEF ZALAL is going to have the grappling edge here, and he might have a small striking advantage, but I don't think we will see much. I think YOUSEF ZALAL will out-grapple him to a decision win will be my pick. YOUSEF ZALAL by decision. Next fight up the card, we've got JHONATA DINIZ versus KARL Williams. So, JHONATA is coming off of his UFC debut against Austin Lane, where he got a 2nd round knockout with his left hook. But round 1, Austin Lane got 2 takedowns on him, was in full mount at one point, and the round had to end for Diniz to get up off the ground. That's a bad look. Austin Lane's keeping you on the mat. You know what KARL Williams' last fight was? He out-grappled Justin Tafa to a decision. So why would I pick JHONATA DINIZ to be able to stuff the takedowns of KARL Williams when Justin Tafa couldn't stuff the takedowns? Justin Tafa for sure is a more well-rounded fighter, I think, or a bit better on the feet maybe than JHONATA DINIZ. KARL Williams able to deal with that power, able to get him on the mat and win that decision. I'm not gonna be picking Diniz to knock out KARL Williams, is all I'm going to say. I think KARL Williams will get the decision win here, will be my official pick. KARL Williams by decision. Next fight up the card, we've got KAROL ROSA versus PANNIE KIANZAD. KAROL ROSA, PANNIE KIANZAD. So KAROL ROSA coming off a unanimous decision loss to Irene Aldana, but she was keeping it close that fight in the striking numbers. It was a unanimous decision, but it was one of those unanimous decisions where she was keeping it close every round. If she threw a couple more each round, she would have a better argument, but it was a close unanimous decision. PANNIE KIANZAD hasn't won a fight since early 2022, and it's a random nobody. She's losing to Macy Chiasson both times by submission, 3 submission losses. I don't mind a KAROL ROSA submission win, to be honest here. She has 2 wins by submission, and PANNIE KIANZAD, 3 of her 8 losses are by submission. But I'm not picking a submission. I'm going KAROL ROSA by decision. KAROL ROSA by decision is the official pick. That's just the easiest pick here. Yeah, next fight up the card, we've got Danny Barlow versus Nikolay VERETENNIKOV. So Danny Barlow's coming off of a round 3, I believe, KO victory over Josh Quinlan. VERETENNIKOV, this is his UFC debut on short notice. Danny Barlow was originally supposed to fight Uros Medic, but Medic had a rib injury and had to pull out. Danny Barlow on a full training camp here. 8 wins, all by knockout. VERETENNIKOV has been knocked out before. I'm going to take the chance, especially because Danny Barlow has a 5-inch reach advantage. I think he's just going to be levels above on the feet. VERETENNIKOV is mostly a striker. 12 of what is like 13 or 14 wins are all by knockout. This guy's a striker. This is striker versus striker, and I think Danny Barlow's coming out on top. Going Danny Barlow, round 2 KO will be the official pick. So this Johnny Parsons Kinoshita fight's not actually happened, and that's off the card now. So the next fight after that will be, we've got TOSHIOMI KAZAMA versus CHARALAMPOS Grigoriou. KAZAMA, 3 of his last 4 fights are knockout losses. He's coming off of a round 1 knockout loss to Garrett Armfield. Before that, he got knocked out by Rinya Nakamura. CHARALAMPOS, 6 of his 8 victories are by KO. I'm not thinking about this one too much. Grigoriou's knocking out KAZAMA. You're not going to catch me picking someone that in his last 3 of 4 fights got knocked out every single time. Grigoriou's going to get this done. I'm going to say a round 2 knockout victory will be the official pick here. Might be round 1 if KAZAMA's really chinny, but we're going to go with Grigoriou. Round 2 KO will be the pick. Next fight up the card, we've got Alan Nascimento versus Jafel Filo. This card is so bad. I just went to check in on this Alan Nascimento Jafel Filo fight, and it's actually canceled. It's off the card now. So I think Yana Santos, Chelsea Chandler's opening the main card. I guess so. Yana Santos coming off of 3 losses, and Chelsea Chandler coming off a win over Josiane Nunes and losing to Norma Dumont before that, running headfirst into the cage. Now, I've seen a lot of people take Chelsea Chandler. I have seen Topology has it like 75% to Chandler and 25% on Santos. I've got to go with Yana Santos, man. I know she's coming off of 3 losses. People are acting like she's fucking 45 years of age. She's only a year older than Chelsea Chandler. She's had way more experience. Her losses, her last few fights are like Carol Rosa, Irene Aldana. Those aren't bad losses. Chelsea Chandler went face first into the cage from Norma Dumont. And she out-grapples Josiane Nunes, who's 4'0". Whoa, incredible wins from Chelsea Chandler. She's not beating Yana Santos. Yana Santos is going to point fight this to a decision. I'm pretty confident Yana Santos will get it done. I'm going to take the slight underdog odds of Yana Santos because Chelsea Chandler as a favorite? Come on. You're smoking it. If you're picking Chelsea Chandler confidently, you're smoking it. Yana Santos will be the pick by decision. Next fight up the card. Featured fight, Damon Jackson versus CHEPE Mariscal. So Damon's one of these like wiry jab, move around the cage, jab, really wiry type of dudes. CHEPE Mariscal sticking to his base, leg kick. He'll leg kick a lot, but he doesn't mind to get gritty, get into wars. And listen, Damon Jackson's been knocked out 4 times before. CHEPE Mariscal's coming off of a split decision win over Morgan Sherrier, which that's a great win, I think. I think he's going to be able to knock out Damon Jackson. I'm going to go with that pick. I think the leg kicks will be a big issue, especially Damon Jackson loves being this wiry older dude that's moving around the cage too much. He's going to get the legs extinguished. He's not going to be able to walk properly past the second round. He's going to be sitting duck, and CHEPE Mariscal is going to finish him off with body shots in the second or third round. I'm going to go with a CHEPE Mariscal round 2 TKO win will be the official pick. Next fight up the card. You saw, I thought this co-main was the only issue with the card when I looked at it before I started this. Chris Gutierrez versus Quang Lee is the new co-main event, but there's so many more issues with this card graphic. Chris Gutierrez versus Quang Lee in the co-main. So Gutierrez coming off of a decision loss to Song Yadong. Pretty boring fight there, but Song Yadong took pretty sure all 5 rounds from Chris Gutierrez. Quang Le, he was supposed to fight on Dana White Contender Series in a few weeks. This is a short notice replacement bout, as Chris Gutierrez was supposed to fight Javid Basharat, but Basharat pulled out. Gutierrez has a full training camp, obviously. Quang Le, I mean, he was training for Dana White Contender Series, so there is that to say. Quang Le's finishing people outside of the company. I don't see him finishing Chris Gutierrez. He's 3 inches shorter than Gutierrez, but he has a 3-inch longer reach than Gutierrez. I think Gutierrez is just going to be the more crispy outside boxer. He has this really funky style where he'll pitter-pat at range, throw a deep kick out. He'll make you very uncomfortable. And Quang Le, he does have a longer reach, but he's shorter. I think Gutierrez, his legs are probably longer than Quang Le. Gutierrez is going to be able to keep away Quang Le. I'm going to pretty confidently say Gutierrez wins by decision will be the official pick. On to the main event, blockbuster, best fight of the year by far, Marcin Tybura versus Sergei Spivak, the rematch. Now, Marcin won that first fight by decision. It was only a 3-rounder. Spivak, I just don't see this guy being that good. I don't see him being that dangerous on the feet. He's a slow, ploddy guy. Tybura's got a grappling advantage here, and he is at the later end of his career. He's 38 years old, but I don't want to act like that's too far. You know, John Jones is 38. He's still putting on a show. I get Tybura's not John Jones, but Sergei Spivak isn't Tom Aspinall or anything. He's lost to a lot of 4 people, but I don't see him being that good. One of his last 3 wins is like Greg Hardy and Augusto Sakai. They're not incredible wins. Marcin Tybura beat him the first time. I don't see it playing out any different. It sucks to say this is going to be a boring 5-round fight. Marcin Tybura is going to grapple out a decision victory here. I don't see Sergei. I think Sergei's going to gas after a few rounds. I don't see him finishing Tybura. I think Tybura is gritty enough, and I don't see Sergei being that dangerous. They got the same reach, same height. It's not like one person's towering over each other. And Spivak's not even, he really shouldn't be a heavyweight. He's the size of a light heavyweight, just with a bunch of fat added onto it. I get that's a lot of these guys at heavyweight, but I really don't see Spivak being that good. He's already lost to Tybura. He hasn't shown much improvements. I'm picking Tybura again. We're going Tybura with a pretty boring 5-round decision. Maybe Spivak takes off the first round or the second, but Tybura puts it all together, grapples Spivak, maybe a late submission or something, but Tybura by decision will be the official pick. That's all the picks for the card. I think I went with 2 underdogs. I think I went with YANA Santos and TALITA ALENCAR as underdogs. So let's see how those do. Let's go.